I'm the strength coach at Alabama. I'm on the Jumbotron. You know, I'm doing ESPN. 60 Minutes is doing a thing on me. I'm strength coach of the year. Like, everything is going right. I'm not gonna get addicted to some pill. Like, come on. Let's get it, let's get it. All I cared about was success. On the field, off the field, take care of the players. The players were my number one. I'm gonna do everything I can for them so that we get to where we're trying to go, so that they get to where they set their goals when we get there. My kids paid the ultimate price, and my wife did too. Paid the ultimate price. God gave me this voice, and now, you know, what am I gonna do with it? I was in college at LSU. I have two older brothers. Both of them are physical therapists, and they are in PT school or already having success as physical therapists. I'm 19 years old, and I get accepted into PT school. And my dad said, no. And I was like, come on, Dad. Like, look how successful my brothers are. I want to be that. And he goes, no. You said you were going to coach and change lives since you were 10 years old. And you haven't even tried. At LSU, there's the laboratory school. It's a university high laboratory school. And so I walked, because I didn't have a car, I walked over from the dorm and had an interview. Had an interview with the head coach for a volunteer coaching position. Now I'm in a jacket, tie, I got the whole deal. When I walk through, I see the kids working out and I see that they really need help with technique. And I was like, the interview can wait a minute, we'll be fine. Within 10 seconds, I knew that this is what I was meant to do. Jacket was off, the tie was off, I'm full sweat because it was middle of summer, like full go coaching. The head coach comes walking in and is like, hey, I'm looking for some student that's supposed to interview to be a coach here. And I was like, that's me, I forgot, my fault. And he goes, well, you're hired. When I started coaching high school, I thought that was gonna be the route. I was gonna be a high school coach, a head high school coach, or in that format. But what I realized in college was the strength coach spends a lot of time with the players. And that's where I felt most comfortable. Coach Saban gets hired. He hires my high school strength coach, Tommy Moffitt, to be his strength coach. I called him and said, hey, I'll cut your grass, I'll scrub your toilets, let me come work for you. Because I was coaching at the high school and loving it, and all of a sudden, look how great this is. My high school strength coach is the strength coach on campus. So I was working to help special teams, kind of the grunt work behind the scenes, helping the specialists do practice and running scout teams for the football team while doing all the stuff for the weight room. So that's how I met Coach Saban. So I was coaching at the Hornets, and we were about to play the Hawks. Bo Davis and Kirby Smart call me and say, hey, Nick's gonna call. Sure enough, I'm walking to the bus to go play the Hawks, and my phone rings, and it's Coach. And he says, hey, I know you're playing the Hawks tonight, can you get over here tomorrow? And I was like, of course, like whatever I need to do. I said, but I have a problem. As a strength coach in the NBA, we wear sweats, and our team happens to have velour sweats. So I had a velour sweatsuit, and he's like, look, I'm not hiring you to be my banker. I'm hiring you to be my strength coach. I don't care what you're wearing, just get here. And I'm like, yes, sir. So we play the Hawks, and during the game, I'm like, man, I cannot show up. I just cannot show up in this velour sweatsuit. And so I asked Chris Paul, I'm like, hey, can I borrow your suit that you have? Well, me thinking I'm the same size, I'm not. He's taller than me. And so it's hanging on me. I got a taxi, went to Walmart, got navy blue sports jacket, a red power tie, a white button down, khakis, belt, brown shoes, got the whole deal for $96. Best investment of my life, hands down. Best $96, you can ask my wife, best $96 we've ever spent. And when I got to campus and got to meet with Coach Saban, it just was a fit. It was just like, I know exactly what you want. I've watched Moffitt do it. I was his assistant. I've seen how you want this program ran. I think I can do it. And it just felt right. Hiring younger staff, I think he really tries to develop young coaches to fit his mold. And I think where I came into play was my personality is to bring the most out of players and coaches. That's what I've always done. That's what I've been good at. And I think he saw it as a value.
Here we go! Let's get it! Let's get it! Slow!
We were all hyped. Everybody loved to get in the weight room every single day. And he brought that energy every day. It was like as soon as you walked in there, you knew that you had to put it in. So we had a thing where they closed the gates. And once that gate closed, you ain't getting out of there, So you either got to go in there and attack it or you're going to figure out, about yourself that day.
And so my job was to make it cool. Thank God for Julio Jones, because he made me cool, because he could outlift the D-line in squats, he could outrun everybody on the team, and he could power clean with the linebackers and running backs.
We got all kind of different talent, man, 5-star players, 4-star players, so much adrenaline. We young, we all want to come in and make a name for ourselves, and a lot of that stuff starts in the weight room with just the competitive nature. So with Coach Cochran and his staff, them bringing so much energy, us being competitive. I mean, we used to try to move so much weight. I know me personally, my technique wasn't good, but I try to compete and just make it so much fun.
I think, when we were coming up, media was just not really kind of popping. Like the time when he first got to Alabama, you really didn't have as many cell phones that were there. Then the time frame of him, the media transitioning and the public eye, it was just the right time and the right moment. So I just feel like the enthusiasm that it brought a lot of attention to the program.
I called Coach Cochran at the time where it was, Alabama football had just took over around 2010, and they had this show called Training Days with Alabama. So you can actually get the disc and watch him on TV. So he became well known to a lot of kids that were in football. If you went to the Nick Saban youth camp, you knew who he was. So his rise to fame was not really a surprise, because in the state of Alabama, he was a big factor, man. And so it wasn't a surprise, and he was very well known in that state.
Being on the Jumbotron and being on ESPN was really, really cool. It just felt like a hassle. It was not something that I looked for. I tried to avoid a lot of the extra, but there was no stopping it. Once the train got started, there was no stopping it. Where it became a problem was when I wanted to take my kids to a basketball game or to a softball game, and the fans would say, "Oh, you're not yelling." And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of with my family. The yelling is, you're just seeing me in the weight room where I need to yell because there's a huge speaker going on.
Hey, B-Rock, you just left the foot. You just dropped the freaking ball.
And then we do stretch lines, and everyone on the team has to hear what I'm saying. And so you have to yell to get that done.
And now, on behalf of the American Football Coaches Association, it is my distinct pleasure to present the Coaches Trophy, symbolic of this year's national champions, to Coach Nick Saban and the University of Alabama.
By about 2009, my migraines or my headaches are getting substantially worse. And try all these different things. They put me on blood thinners. I think they put me on beta blockers. We tried all kinds of different things, but nothing worked. You know, I had 5 groups a day. And so in between every group, in order to kind of calm the pain down, I would go run to the ice tub and dunk my head in it. And it would give me a little bit of relief momentarily. I mean, I even put Tiger Balm right here on my temples to try to relieve. I tried everything. The doc said, hey, let's try a painkiller. We can try oxycodone. And the first thing he says, right? The first thing he says is, this is addictive, so I really don't want to write this for you. But come on. Like, addictive, like that's the people under the bridge, that's the homeless people. Like, I'm the strength coach at Alabama. I'm on the Jumbotron. You know, I'm doing ESPN not commercials, but they're doing videos on me. 60 Minutes is doing a thing on me. Regions Bank, I got a national, I'm strength coach of the year. Like, everything is going right. I'm not gonna get addicted to some pill. Like, come on. And sure enough, you know, by 2015, I am in deep, I'm hooked. It's got me hook, line, and sinker. It's a very nasty, disgusting disease. And by 2015, I'm snorting pills, but they were working. I was able to coach. I wasn't having headaches. It was amazing, right? I was able to actually do my job. The doc that first wrote me Oxy stopped. So I found another doc in the state that would write me $90 a month. When that wasn't enough, after a year, that wasn't enough, I needed another doc. And so I used one in Mississippi that I had found. And so now I had 2 docs writing me 90 pills a month.
Alabama national champions for the second time in the last 3 years. Congratulations to all of the fans of the Crimson Tide on yet another national championship, their 3rd in 4 years. As I mentioned, 5 championships for Alabama.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
2018, 2019, I realized it was a problem. I realized financially it was a problem. I realized the hiding was a problem. I didn't like myself. I felt like a fraud. And so that's when, you know, I tried to outrun my disease. You know, that's when I was like, you know what? If I can go do special teams somewhere else, because you can't just leave the GOAT, right? You can't leave Coach Saban. So in my mind, I had to do something different. And then that would make sense to leaving the greatest coach of all time, right? And so that's when I called Kirby. But I thought that I would leave all of that behind me, right? But the withdrawals were so bad. And I'm on my first day at work at Georgia and I'm gonna have the flu. That's not gonna work. And so I picked up right where I left off, if not worse. 2 weeks after I get on campus, COVID happens. I'm literally staying at Kirby's house. At some point, he said, hey, this is gonna be a while. Why don't you go back home to Tuscaloosa and get your house in order to sell it? April 10th is the day that probably will be burned in my wife's mind for the rest of her life. It was after a staff meeting. It was after a meeting with an NFL team, learning special teams stuff on a Zoom. You know, my wife was walking out of the door and didn't hear my voice on a meeting. She said it was dead quiet, didn't understand why, because normally I'm in meetings and we're talking. And so she came up the stairs and she found me face down on the ground, you know, trying to rouse me, get me up. Nothing's happening. She calls 911. They Narcaned me. And, you know, me coming to was, 48 hours later, I'm in the hospital. I'm in a bed in the hospital, and the doc says it was a close call. And my wife's like scared to death. Just as April 10th, 2020, it was Good Friday. And so I went to rehab on Easter Sunday. I left my family during COVID. Didn't tell anybody. My kids didn't know. No one knew. I went to Massachusetts to go to Chris Herron's wellness center and spent 30 days. I think I lasted 2 months. And this is where I can tell you mental toughness doesn't work. I can tell you all the different things don't work. It's because I wasn't having headaches. I didn't need it because I was having headaches. Like, I wasn't yelling that much. So with the purpose, so it wasn't just for the headaches. Now I'm an addict. And it was really bad during this time. This is where it was all pressed pills. This is where I was addicted to fentanyl. I can say that I didn't know, but I had to have known. It was definitely different. But everything looks good, right? I'm recruiting at a very high level, signing some really good players. Special teams is #1 in the SEC, top 5 in the country.
Most important play in the game, Story, is right now. Right now.
I didn't think anyone would ever care, even if they did find something out. Because I knew it was bad, but I didn't think it mattered, right? All people care about is winning. So why would they care, you know? Why would anyone care about the special teams coordinator or the strength coach struggling, right? Like, no one cares. We want to see your team win. So on the outside, it all looks good, but my wife knows. You know, my wife knows, like, you're struggling. In June of 2021, it was right after recruiting ended. It was the summer camps, and I was just sick of myself. And so I went to rehab. And when they drug tested me in rehab, it was all fentanyl. That's all they found in my system. There was no Percocet, Oxy, Adderall, nothing. It was all fentanyl. And they said, you're gonna die if you leave. And so I thought I had a little 10-day refresher during vacation time, turned into 100 days. It's 2023 season. I have 2.5 years sober. I get my 2-year chip, so I'm on fire, right? My ego starts getting a little bit, is what I like to say. My head starts getting a little bit, it becomes about me. That edging God out starts to happen. My 3 goals again, you know. I've developed over more than 50 first rounders now. I've made the money. Now I'm only 43, 44, and I'm going to get to 10 before I'm 50.
And then the big 6 to seal it. And one more play for the Georgia defense. Georgia on the mountaintop. But the Georgia Bulldogs bludgeoned their way to back-to-back.
I have a setback. That shame cycle that I talked about, where that guilt, I can't tell anybody because this will be another stint in rehab, and I've told everybody my story. I can't, now I'm a bad person. There's the shame. So that guilt turns to shame really fast. And my wife grabbed me. We were playing Florida State in a bowl game. We're in Miami. And she grabs me and says, hey, I know you're struggling. I don't know if you've already picked up. I don't know if you're about to pick up, but you are struggling. This can be our last game coaching at Georgia.
This is the largest margin, Jesse, in Capital One Orange Bowl history, 60-point win. The largest margin.
January comes around and I couldn't do it. I was done. I was like, I gotta get out. Who cares how people are gonna judge me? I need help. And I think that is toughness. If you wanna know what toughness is making a mistake and owning it. That's tough. You wanna find out mental toughness and physical toughness, going through the withdrawals again. Tough. But making a mistake and saying, you know what? I know I should be at 2.5 years, but I'm really not even at day 1. So here I go, I need help again. The crazy part about all of this is, and it's the saddest part, is my disease takes hostages. And the hostages that were taken lived under my roof. My kids paid the ultimate price, and my wife did too, paid the ultimate price. And it's the worst thing. My wife, she picked me up when I was down. She found a way to have the strength and courage to stick around after all the setbacks. She didn't get the love and affection that maybe she deserved. And so I have a living amends to my wife. I can say sorry till I'm blue in the face, which I have. But she talks about, God gave me this voice, and now, what am I gonna do with it? Let's go, baby. I'm in Mob Town, Mobile, Alabama. I am speaking at the Stigma Summit. Stop judging and start healing.
The way that we've always done it is you get a Post-it and you put it on your mirror. And my goals at this time, I wanted to win 10 national championships. I wanted to develop 50 first rounders, and I wanted to make a certain amount of money.
Speaking engagements are awesome. You get to really help people. My nonprofit is incredible. I'm really helping a lot of people. But I've been a football coach for over 20 years. In December, I started to get an itch of, is this where you really want me, God? And so my wife and I prayed about it a bunch. And amazingly, I got a few phone calls. They just didn't feel right. And then in January, I received a phone call and they asked me to be the head coach here. And I can't explain it, but it felt like this is it.
We're a university that takes chances on people and tries to get them to be what they want to be. And, we did that. My second year here, we took a chance on Tyreek Hill when nobody else would. That was not something that's new to UWA. That was not something that was new to me. I mean, that's part of who we are. That's part of our DNA as a university and as an athletic program and a football program is being able to take educated chances on people and help them grow into what they want to become.
And the first thing I said was, hey, I'm in recovery. That comes first. So we've got to put think of bowling and you put up the bumpers for the kids. We got to put bumpers up for me as the head coach because that comes first. I've got to manage that in order to have success anywhere in life.
Where my returners at? Right here. There you go. We right here.
Y'all early too. Y'all my returners?
Yes, sir. Of course. Let's do it.
Damn. 13?
I'll get you in there. Let's do it.
13's your number? So you like Friday the 13th? Like you create nightmares and shit? Don't play with me. Don't play with me. You know who the last 13 I had was? Sorry. If you don't know, it's okay. He played quarterback. Tua? Yeah, he created some nightmares. He created some nightmares.
And just to see that he had that opportunity because he's always talked about it. I always inspired to want to have a head coaching job and be one. So when I saw that he had the opportunity, I was like just amazed and very excited for him to take on a new challenge in his life.
Just know you can't mess it up.
Yes, sir.
Or you're gonna mess up, and it's okay.
Gotcha.
You can't be wrong.
Yes, sir.
So take them nerves you got.
Let it go.
Just take a breath, like, know that God's got you.
Yes, sir.
I know you're gonna do your best.
Yes, sir.
So I ain't sweating it.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You get lost, you get confused, the kids will have you back.
That family aspect, we like to call it the brotherhood. To be back with former players that I played with, we kind of get that little feeling back. As a staff, we get a chance to do meetings, we get a chance to sit down and talk football. Like, what can we do to help these young men take the next step in their lives, to help them become successful? It's just super cool. And then most importantly, we get the chance to pour into these young men and give them some advice that we learned along the way. And then hoping in return, they touch us in ways we could have never imagined. So that's the ultimate goal.
Pop it up! Come on, I want to hear these Titans, Jack! I want to hear them! Do it! First team runner! Let's go!
I just think it makes it important that they know the truth and that, okay, let's define what being a human being, a man, is for each individual. And I think if they get to see a coaching staff that shows up every single day the same exact way, they start to not just hear the words, they start to see the action. And when I told them my story, I literally told them, I said, I hope y'all don't quit after you hear the truth about me. And luckily they didn't, and more are coming. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it! Know where you're going!
Okay, can't look back on the past, gotta see, switch it, yeah, check the stats, it's a rap, whole team, did it, yeah, took it down, bounce back, gotta redeem with it, came back on the top, came back on the roof, yeah, from rags to riches, straight out the mummy, I had to get it, had to get it, life through a curve.
Details! Want urgency getting to the line no matter what.
The megaphone that I'm using is so that people can hear me and I don't have to yell all practice. Is really what it comes down to. Because there's this fear that if I yell too loud, if I start coaching and enjoying it too much, if I start getting that juice too much, then I'm gonna start getting headaches. And so that's a fear of mine. So I use a megaphone now as often as I can. My ego would never let me do that before. No shot, no way would my ego allow that. And now I just get to be raw, real, and me. And look, there's no secrets now. Boom! Yeah, he in here. Goddamn. He in here. Let's go. What we do is you get a Post-it and you put it on your mirror, right? You put it eye level so that every morning you brush your teeth, every night before you go to bed, you see the Post-it, the goals that you put up that you want to become. My goals were I wanted to develop 50 first rounders, wanted to win 10 national championships, and I wanted to make a certain amount of money. And so whenever they saw that, they were like, who's gonna win 10? Like, that's crazy, coach.
You put those goals there so you can look the man in the mirror, right? Who do you see there now?
I see a loving husband. I see a present father. I see someone that's walking with Jesus. And I see someone that's willing to go the extra mile for somebody that's struggling or a family member that's struggling. And I've gotten really close. I hit 2 of the 3 for sure. And time will tell. If I can get to 10, we'll see. That's not in my hands. I'm just going to work hard.
Need support? Download the free Connect Alabama app today. Your connection to care.